Hi, hey, hello. Welcome to a Market Down production. My name is The Glue, Daniel, and I'm just here to talk about Monday Night Raw. An inoffensive, overall, pretty good, pretty decent episode of Monday Night Raw. Would you look at that? It's riding some of the hype off of Night of Champions. A lot of that hype is for stuff that is mostly SmackDown related, but there was some stuff that's to be hyped about for Raw as well. So we'll just jump right to the top of the show. We had a brief little celebration for Seth freaking Rollins, the new World Heavyweight Consolation Champion. Now, we are all in full agreement. This title is a consolation prize. It is secondary and it has an uphill battle. But Seth Rollins is the person to get it where it needs to be. And that being said, I care about this title more than Roman's now because Roman had a perfect ending at Mania, and then the story he's in now would be just as good without the titles. Maybe even better, right? Maybe even better. But we are where we are. So now I don't care about the SmackDown World title. I'm just going to put all my energy into this World title and hope for the best and hope Seth just steals the show. What is up, Jay? Let's fucking go indeed. Braun should be Roman. Let's not waste Braun on beating Seth, right? Right? I think we could agree on that, right? But Seth has a nice celebration. The crowd sings a song. They're cheering. They're having a great time. The "You Deserve It" chants. And oh my God, bro, let me tell you, I'm so glad to not be babysitting these freaking chumps. Oh my God. They're so low energy. And I'm like a low energy person, but they make me seem like I have ADHD in comparison because they're just so dead, bro. It's like, who pissed in your Cheerios? The guys got to liven up. I hope they see this later because they're not. You're here. They're not here. They're not even freaking watching, these freaking jabronis. Anyway, I digress. AJ Styles came out and, just gave him some daps and we're like, hey, you earned it. You don't deserve it. You earned it. Cool. It's nice when people are like, you earned it, but I also hate when they disparage deserving something because we're deciding the person deserves it, not them. So like, it's okay for the "you deserve it" chant, but anyway, they get along, they shake each other's hands and they're like, hey, we're baby faces at the end of the day, so we have to respect each other. And they're interrupted by the Judgment Day, who are like, we ran Monday Night Raw, and we're the best faction in WWE because any other competition we had is falling apart. Rhea is so good. Rhea is so over. It is just everything she does oozes charisma now, and it's a far cry from when she first came up to the main roster. But you don't like the Rollins song? Oh man, I can understand it getting annoying, but I'm a fan of it. It's just nice when the people are involved, But they're like that with a lot of people's theme songs nowadays. Let's see. AJ, yep, AJ's a SmackDown guy. On Raw, the brand split is a joke. It is a certified joke. They have disregarded it immediately since initiating it and consistently. So what was the point? You didn't have to do this. It's just silly, right? Oh man, when Naomi got it, oh man, I'm gonna say something you might not like, Jay, but I think Naomi is like fine. Like she's good, but like she was good for that time period. She's not good in the modern, like, she's not as good as like the Horsewoman, but she's in like the Eve Torres tier of like good for their time and not bad at all and still like with a lot of upside. But I'm sure there's one. I think the Bray Wyatt one when the first time won the WWE title. But again, to me, the "You Deserve It" chant was 2014 Daniel Bryan. after WrestleMania. Every other one has not meant nearly as much, but I like the ironic ones when like it happens more in AEW where the crowds will chant "You deserve it" to someone just getting their ass kicked or being stretched out. Like that's funny to me, you know. Uh, oh man, it's Jay. You're the man because I don't like Charlotte at all, but I just I don't always want to go on the hate Charlotte train because I'm like it's such a annoying uphill battle because everyone's like yeah, but and it's like no, she just makes things worse. I'm gonna take a sip of water real quick. But anyway, so they set up a tag. Judgment Day sets up a tag match with AJ and Seth for later. Fun stuff, decent opening. Again, nothing crazy, but Rhea's over. Seth gets his props. Then we get the Miz versus Ricochet, and this is a tale of two jobbers having to work their ass off to win over the crowd because they're both damaged goods. Ricochet is a great wrestler. The acrobatics are another level, but he is a loser. He is a geek. He's a jabroni. He doesn't have the best personality. I'm sorry if you're watching this, Ricochet, but I'm not saying you the person, just you the character. I'll always keep that in mind, guys. I'm talking about characters. Occasionally, I'll talk about the people, and I'll make that clear. But Miz is just beyond. Miz is Natalia. They're people you shouldn't be taken seriously. So the beginning of this match was so boring, and the crowd was dead. They were hot for the opening segment because there's a bunch of people that were over interacting. But here's two people that are not over interacting. But second half of this match, after a commercial break, things picked up, and it got decent, and the crowd got into it. So they popped big for the Ricochet win. Now, this is a no-brainer. If you have a Money in the Bank match, you could put Miz in there, and that's fine. But you put Ricochet in because you know he's going to flop around and take insane bumps. Neither of those guys are winning Money in the Bank. No one that's qualified so far for Money in the Bank is winning Money in the Bank, but you need that type of guy in this match. So makes perfect sense. You give Ricochet a win, you put him in the match, and he's going to do something crazy in the match. I am excited that Ronda and Shayna won because they're an actual team. One of them's a star. One of them's really good. How we got here is really convoluted and messy and unfortunate, but, we'll talk about that. We're going to get there. Bro, I mean, people really do like his Raws, his paper. Triple H makes really good pay-per-views. His Raws are mid, like they're very mediocre. They're always or decent. They're decent at best most of the time. You know what I mean? No, Jay, by all means, bro. See, none of my fucking podcast mates they couldn't even be bothered to be in the chat. That's how unsupportive they are. I was in the chat for James doing the Impact stuff. I'm always watching and in the chat supporting. He's not doing the same. It's absurd. You know what I get? It's Monday night. It's late. Like all the other shows end at 10. This one ends at 11. People work Tuesdays. I get it. That's why I don't always want to do this on Monday, despite for some reason enjoying watching Raw. But they're not even here to support. But anyway, Indusher beat two jobbers. We obviously don't care, but whatever. Next, we had maybe my favorite thing on the show. I gotta think about it, but probably it was just everything with Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Imperium, and Alpha Academy. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are so good. They are peak wrestlers and they are peak sports entertainers. They combine the two worlds flawlessly. Them re-signing with WWE a year and a half ago or whenever it was, the smartest move they ever made. It was a no-brainer in hindsight. They would have been great in AEW, but they are thriving here in this role. I say it all the time on the Raw Fast Forward. Kevin Owens is the best he is the Abed of of WWE, where he's the one who toes the line of knowing that they're in a TV show the most. He points out the incongruities of staging and how wrestling shows work typically, because they're cutting a promo, great and passionate promo, where he basically says, "Hey, Roman," Sammy says, "no matter what, we won, and you'll always have to live with that. In the long run, we won. The bloodline has faltered. You cannot beat us for the tag titles, and you'll always have to live with that." Such good stuff by Sammy here. And then Imperium comes out. And Kevin Owens loses his shit. He says, "You broke the unwritten rule. You came out here. Nobody called you out. Last week, it was okay. We called you out, and then you came out. That makes sense. You get called out, you music hits, you come out. No one called you out here. You broke the unwritten rule." And I was dying because Kevin Owens is throwing a tantrum over it, and Sammy's calms down. He's like, "Yeah, okay, calm down. Let me talk to him. You guys did break an unwritten rule, but so good." And freaking Ludwig Kaiser is so good. I love this dude's voice. I love his enunciation. I love his dialect. I love his diction. I love just the way he delivers Gunther's introduction and these promos. These interactions were flawless. They got the crowd so into this. A crowd that was up and down. A crowd that got bored and were not afraid to show it. They were in Albany, New York. Shout out Albany. For some reason, that's the capital of New York. Makes no sense. Shouldn't be. Doesn't deserve it. But whatever. They're so good. And then Alpha Academy comes out. Quick little promo from Chad. All fun stuff. And then we have a fun match. A very fun match with Kevin and Sammy on commentary. And again, they just were on one tonight. Just killing it. Like the match was good. It's not like I gotta watch this match again good, but I would rewatch it just to hear Kevin and Sammy on commentary. At one point, Sammy yells to Otis to get up or get out of the way, and Kevin's like, "You think he can hear you right now?" And it's like, "Yeah, the heat of the moment." It was just, I'm not doing it justice. They were so good here, but ultimately Imperium picks up the win. Because of Valhalla chasing off Maxine Dupree. What a normal sentence. It is normal in the context of wrestling, but just imagine sometimes explaining wrestling to a non-wrestling fan, but I digress. Fun stuff. I'm very into this Alpha Academy Imperium stuff. Very into Gunther right now. I'm very into Imperium right now as a whole. So they're really tickling my fancy. Let me get back to some of these chats. But I hear you, but they're so entertaining. I don't know how to put it, but the whole package together, because Giovanni would do nothing if he was on his own. Not that he's not good, but he just wouldn't get opportunities. So being here, it's like he gets his time to shine in a tag match, and then maybe he can, bounce back and forth. Shotzi is on SmackDown, I believe, but since it's for the tag titles, they float. So I guess since we're crowning new champs, we're doing it here. But yeah, tell me about it. See, the thing is, that's Albany. That's New York State. New York City is New York. Everywhere else is just upstate. It's not the same. You can't compare. They're not snarky upstate in Albany. It's more farmlands and stuff, which is great. Farms are important. Farms are great. Support, farmers and everything. But they're not the raucous crowd. But they had their moments. This crowd. It's just some of the show was boring, so they got quiet. I wish anyone would replace Graves on commentary at this point. He's actually good when he's with Michael Cole, but on Raw, he's unbearable. Great question, Jay. We don't want to get into that because it's just one of those things I don't think you really want the answer to, or at least I don't think I want that answer right now. But again, all fun stuff. Let's see. I feel like my notes, or not my notes, I didn't take the notes, but some things came out of order. So we're going to jump back a little bit. But Trish Stratus came out, cut a promo about how she won at Night of Champions, and then introduced Zoe Stark. And immediately, I'm going to tell you why this already works, because Trish and Becky have successfully gotten Zoe a reaction. She got booed when she came out after 2 weeks of wrestling to fucking crickets. And Zoe is great. Zoe can go. Zoe's got a good look. She's just got that attitude. She could be like the Sheamus of the women's division. But she got booed. Finally, she got a reaction from the crowd. Not finally, it's been a couple weeks, but you know what I mean. And just came back with the promo and said, "Who better? Why hustle and grind and pay my dues when I could just jump the line and associate with Trish?" Great logic, makes sense. Love when a heel's motives make sense. Becky comes out and says, "Zoe, you're going to tell me what's up? I'm going to ruin your life." And just the delivery there was fantastic. But she says, "Hey, Trish, you're in your gear. I'm in my gear." They're both wearing their jumpsuits because, again, it was in Saudi Arabia, but Becky's is a Kill Bill one, so that's fucking cool. We like that. And then Zoe charges up on the ramp, decks her with a nice punch, throws her in the barricade, starts brawling with Trish, but eventually Zoe comes back and the numbers advantage gets to Becky, and she gets laid out. Okay, Jay, I'm about to put you in a timeout. That is the worst take you've ever had, bro. Becky, first of all, Cody is Cena. He's literally trying to be Cena. Becky literally carries all of her feuds, including this one. Her promo last week put Trish in her place. Like, it is completely one-sided. Becky is destroying this feud and carries all of her feuds. You think Bianca carried their feud? No, Becky carried the Becky-Bianca feud. You were wild with this one, bro. Way, way off the mark. She literally does evolve, does change her character multiple times. Cena never changed his character. That was the whole problem with him. Becky literally did. She was big-time Bex until she came back and got cheered, and it was the man again. It's not the same version of the man. She's, actually has feuds and storylines and cuts great promos. Like, if you just don't like the Horsewoman, you just don't like the Horsewoman. But, like, Becky is leaps and bounds better than the rest of them, especially character-wise. Whereas Trish cannot go anymore. Like, bro, I'm telling, like, I mean, look, I'm not saying against opinions, but, like, there's got to be a reason you think, like, it's, like, there's got to be, like, a reason that you think this. And I just think that the quality speaks for itself. Anytime I see people hate on Becky, it just comes from a place of, I'm sick of seeing this person succeed, or they just never liked her, so they just find reasons to. Whereas, like, I look at my hatred of Charlotte, which I constantly justified, because I didn't always hate Charlotte. Like, that developed over time, and I can point out the differences. Charlotte cuts a promo, same monotone voice over and over again. Becky knows how to speak. She has inflection. She never fumbles her line. She always knows what she's saying. She thinks of creative and poetic promos. And it probably being me being a little melodramatic and defendant, simping over my fucking favorite, but, like, she has it, and she carries her matches a lot. Like, look at the tag match with Charlotte and Becky versus the Kabuki Warriors, where Kairi got hurt. Becky protected the shit out of her in that match, where Charlotte was the one that hurt her. But anyway, I digress. My extreme love and bias towards Becky Lynch aside, they laid her out and they put the shirt on her. It says, "Thank you, Trish," which was a very nice callback to the original matches in Saudi Arabia, where the women had to wrestle in jumpsuits and t-shirts. But we're past that now, but they still did it here. No, dude, that's fine. That's fine. I just, look, man, I only want to change your mind on one thing, and that is Becky Lynch, man. You want to hate on Cody? I'm half with you. Sometimes I love him, sometimes I want to hate on him, but I'll defend Becky religiously, because I think she's literally the best, hands down the best person in the women's division overall. Maybe not the best in ring, 100% the best promo. So best overall, because she's still really good in the ring. And her and Bianca last WrestleMania was the best match of that whole WrestleMania both nights. But dude, I heard Battleground was really good. Everyone really, really liked it though. But I understand why you're upset. I totally get that. So sorry, I'm gonna try to get back on track. But anyway, that was a good investment with feud, and they're getting Zoe over. So it's successful. And that's the other thing I say about Becky. She gets people over where Charlotte doesn't. That Bayley does too. That's why Bayley is the second best of the horsewomen. And Sasha's third. Like there's a gap between like the three of them and then Charlotte in my eyes. But then again, I am biased and a little bit of a hater in that regard. But the thoughts on the adversity for Cody. I think we didn't need the adversity. I think the Brock Lesnar feud would be better if he was champion. And I think we didn't need to have all this. Like, this is one of those overbooked Cody nonsense, but his promo is really good tonight because he does that thing where, you know, he starts talking like a normal promo. You hear the crack in his voice, and then he turns to the camera and he turns it up. And he always does that. But the crowd died a little bit on him because, you know, not winning the titles did hurt just a little bit. And then some of these crowds are hit or miss. And this crowd was hit or miss itself throughout the show. Some segments were hits, others were misses. That's kind of where we're at here. Dude, we never got a Nia versus Becky match. Like after that, that's wild that we never got that. But the Doudrop match was fine. At that time, it was Doudrop's best match on the main roster, but she's had some better ones since then. But she tried, you know. She tried to get her over, and inadvertently made Nia Jax the biggest heel on the roster for a few months until nothing came of it, which is, again, weird. Those easy, could have had that title match during Becky's run as champion. No, oh yeah, you're right. Oh my god, yeah. Oh, Roman needs to hit that 1,000-day arbitrary number, like, because that means he passes. Oh, nobody has already passed anyone near him, and he needs to hold it for way longer to pass other people. Oh god, I'm so glad we hit the 1,000 days. So now we could have his brothers fight for the titles, and people want Jay to be, not you, Jay, but Jay Uso to be the one to dethrone him, as if having Jay Uso as the world champions a great idea. God, these Triple H people we're so weird, right? It's so weird. But anyway, we had the Fatal 4-Way tag. The crowd was dead completely. Ronda Rousey gets like no reaction now. What the fuck? Like, I'm not even particularly a Ronda Rousey fan. I'm perfectly neutral about Ronda Rousey. But like, she is a star. Like, and she like, what? That would never happen. Like, how are you gonna have Ronda Rousey on your roster and now she's just a person on the roster? I mean, that's up for debate. Like, I can't speak fully to it because I didn't see enough of Braun's reign, but Gunther's reign is, because Gunther's gonna beat the record and will be the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. No matter what Roman does, he will only be the longest reigning of a certain time. He will never beat Bruno's record. He'll never beat Hogan's record. Like, he can only beat modern records. So, like, you know, there's only so much they can do. And I don't know. Was Braun the longest reigning NXT champion? I don't actually know. No. Anything Ronda does, Ronda sticks her foot in her mouth constantly. I'm not defending Ronda the person at all. I think she's a little bit of a baby, honestly. But like, bro, she's a fucking star, and like, she just feels like a nobody now. You know, like, Logan Paul's a piece of shit, but that guy's getting a reaction when he comes in. In fact, I'm going to say this right now. Logan Paul should be in Money in the Bank, and maybe he should win it. He might, like, and I don't think that's a bad idea. Do I particularly want that? No, but it's a good idea. Like, they've really fucked up Money in the Bank. You might put it on, get some mainstream attention on it, I guess. Uh, oh yeah, dude, Ronda is fucking weird, man. Braun should. Do you think he'll be in it though? Like, I don't. I thought this guy would be drafted. So like the fact that he's not, when is he gonna come up? It's so weird. They're doing your boy dirty. Dominic too. That's the other front runner. Yeah, you got Dominic. Just imagine how good this Money in the Bank is. You put Drew in there to get the UK pop. You put Dom in there. You put Logan Paul in there, and then all of a sudden you got all these. You put Sheamus in there. Screw it. You got all these people. You put Jay in there. You put one of the Usos in there. That's a good plan. You put Riddle in there, and you got stories. This Money in the Bank probably will revitalize the stipulation. I have high hopes for it. Becky is going to beat Sonya next week to qualify. Zoe's going to beat Natalya to qualify. So that story will continue in the women's match. But we didn't get any qualifiers for the women's Money in the Bank this match, but we did get Nakamura versus Bronson Reed, and after like hitting multiple Kinshasas, Nakamura won, and I'm surprised. I thought they were going to have Reed go over and Reed in the match because you always want to have like one big guy in the match, but maybe that big guy will be Solo in the match. I don't know. We'll see, but it's shaping up to be a good match, and I'm just good for Nakamura. I'm happy he won a match. I just really wasn't expecting it. Natalya's worse because Natalya still wants success. Like I don't know. She just reeks as like desperate for attention, you know. Bro, I feel bad for Candice. I think she's a good wrestler, and she has been botched from day one. Like, I don't know if there's any hope for recovering. I hope she can get over one day, but like, you know, it was her and Zoe wrestling to crickets. Now Zoe's got a reaction. Maybe we get Candice up there one of these days, but I don't know if this was the way to do it. I don't think audiences are gonna cheer for that. So we'll see. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Candice LeRae saying she's a fairy and living her dream. You know, whatever. So yeah, we had the women's fatal 4-way. Fun stuff. It took a while to get going, but there was some good spots in this. Chelsea Green is very funny, and her character really drives spots in the matches. Bailey was an afterthought in this match, unfortunately, but Io looked great at the end. Raquel was put over really strong. And then, of course, Ronda and Shayna won, which they should because they're the most credible people in the match. And this is, I mean, we've had so many chances to make the tag titles relevant for the women's division. But, you know, as always, maybe this is the time. Maybe Ronda and Shayna are the people to do it. I don't know. But, yeah, you know, the crowd didn't care for the beginning. They got into it. JD McDonough beat up Dolph Ziggler. I don't give a fuck. When McDonough starts really interacting with Finn in the Judgment Day, I'll be more into it. But for now, it is what it is. That's a good catch, JL. You know, I mean, she's rubbing people the wrong way. So, you know, they probably are going to throw her name out there anyway. Then we had the main event. Styles and Rollins beat Finn and Priest. It was a fun match, but like, I just thought more would happen. You know, they made it seem like it was this Raw was going to set up big stuff for Rollins for the future. And if Judgment Day had won, I could see how they did that, but they didn't win. So who's Rollins really going to feud with? Are they going to feud with is he going to feud with Finn? Because he just beat Finn like 3 weeks ago in the tournament for this, which is the problem with the tournament aspect of this. But, you know, what now? I'm more interested in seeing Rhea versus Seth, or Seth and Becky versus Rhea and Dominic or something. You know, there's actually, I don't know. We'll see what comes out of this. But this was like just a fun nothing, but it was a lot of nothing. Like fun match, but I don't see how it pushed anything forward. You know, this didn't make the title feel equal to Romans, and obviously it's not going to happen in a night. But you know, there's some building blocks you can make, to start getting it going. But I don't know. I don't want to sour on it because there was nothing wrong with it. But that's the thing, is just nothing's the operative word there. There was just so much nothing in this match. I mean, it was a good show. The first hour was borderline perfect. We had the opening segment, which was fun. We had Ricochet qualifying for Money in the Bank. We had the Becky, Trish, Zoe stuff. And we had the KO, Sammy, Imperium stuff, which was all really fun. But then Raw always suffers from about 9:35 to 10:45. And why is that so inevitable? Why can't we get a good middle of Raw? Because even when the ending's good, I'm tired by then because it's gone on for so long that I'm just, we need Raw to be consistent or to be 2 hours. But I think that ship has long sailed. We're not going back. But, it is what it is. We need to really keep the middle of Raw because everyone says the last hour drags. No, the middle drags, or not the middle towards the end. 9:30 to 10:40 drags. We need to fix that hour. I only briefly talked about it. JD versus Ziggler, there's nothing to talk about. He beat up Ziggler in 3 minutes and stomped him on the steps a bunch of times. The Bronson Nakamura match was good. I just didn't expect Nakamura to win. That's why I barely talked about the match, because I was so shocked that Nakamura won, because I thought that was for sure foregone conclusion that Bronson Reed was going to win and be in the ladder match. But no, Nakamura did it. I can't tell whether they're trying to heat up Nakamura or not, because he's interacting with The Miz most of the time, and now he's beating Bronson Reed, who, remember, left New Japan for this after getting put over Okada. And I barely watched New Japan, but I understand how big of a deal that is. And this is what he left for? To be a nothing guy? To be like a third string big man on a roster? What? So it was surprising, but it was a good match. And the crowd, again, took a while to get into it, but they got into it by the end. So yeah, up and down show. Mostly good, just not great. Raw's never great, and that's the problem. It's always just good or decent or boring, it's never offensively bad, which is almost somehow worse, right? At least if Raw is bad, we can be here shitting on it, but it is what it is. Look, we blew through this review because it's Monday. It's almost midnight. I want to go to bed. I'm not dragging things out like my freaking podcast mates. Our Dynamite review is as long as the freaking show. All right. I'm not having a 3-hour Raw review. We're in and out. We're here 35 minutes, and then we're done. We're out of here. Boom. Sayonara. Everyone, have a good night. Please bring yourselves to our AEW Dynamite review. We got a fun show, probably, I assume. But yeah, everyone, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, comment. JL, you were the man. It isn't here, but if he was here, I'd compliment him too. But thank you guys for watching. Be nice to animals. Don't drink and drive. And remember to mark it down.